first, I'm going to show what accepting a trip report should look like on your screen. So if you're not on the trip report yet, we have sent that link out to people. When you click on it and open it, you'll get a screen that looks like this. Now, this is not the trip report for Migration Magic. This is one for an upcoming eco-travel trip, but you'll see a screen just like this that has the name, and I'll show the Migration Magic one shortly. But at the top, you'll see you have been invited to join this trip report option. And you're going to want to click on the join trip report option in the upper right hand corner. And once you join that, it'll take you to a screen that asks you to manage your checklists. You can adjust your personal dates if you so choose, but there's no reason to. The max they can do is 31, so that's the full length of May. And then once you have accepted that, you hit save and view trip report, and then bam, you're in there. Now, what does that mean? For example, if we want to look at the Migration Magic trip report, what it looks like currently. Let me switch screens here. We will see a screen that looks like this, and you'll see Migration Magic 2024, and you'll see where all the checklists have been submitted from. Now, yes, there are some outliers in Florida, so we have to reach out to that person to remove those checklists, which I'll show how to do in a second. But further going through the trip report, you'll see that there's been 183 species, 299 checklists, 74 photos, and 5 with audio. Now, you can also break it down by individual person. So, for example, if you wanted to see me, you scroll all the way down to me, and you can see there, I've seen 140 species so far across 31 checklists, and you can see all the individual species I've seen here. Like I said, as long as you accept the trip report and you can see your name. So if you're not sure, that's a good thing. If you're not sure if you've accepted the trip report, open the link, which is either in your email or we can send it again, and see if you're, click on this plus 41 more on the main page, and you can see everyone who's signed up through the trip report. If you don't see your name here, it's not, you haven't accepted it, and we can resend you the link. Some people might ask, why are some names blue and some names gray? That just means those of us with blue names have made our profiles public. So by default, your profile is not public. People can't see you, they can't follow you. But for myself, my profile is not private. Mine is public. So you could see my information. You can't see lots of stuff, but you can see lists and photos and where I've been and stuff like that. But most people don't have that, and that's totally okay, obviously. But if you wanted to have fun and check out other people, you could. But yeah, make sure you're on here, and then as long as you submit a list, it will show up in the trip report. If you run into an issue submitting a list, feel free to email me. That's the best way to reach me, and I can walk you through. And the help page of eBird has a lot of help as well. They can explain some things, all that other stuff. I know we've gone over time, and I'm really sorry. So this is what the eBird app looks like on your phone if you have it downloaded and are logged in. When doing a list, like if I get to a birding location, the first thing I do is hit start track, or start checklist. This record track option is always turned on. You can turn it off. It will pop up and recommend you to keep it on. But for example, if I'm doing a stationary list, there's no reason to have it on. It's just going to drain some data. But then when you hit start checklist, you'll be greeted by a screen that looks like this. And you'll see a list of all the species that can be in the area. Now, instead of scrolling through, one of the easiest things you can do is this add observation. And the number one question I ever get when it comes to using this app is, why do the numbers come up before the letters? Because the secret hint of eBird is you can type the number that you saw. So say I have 3 black-capped chickadees. You type the number 3, and then you can type black-capped chickadee and just tap on it, and it automatically adds those 3 to the list. And then if you see 3 more later on, you can do black cap chickadee again, and bam, all of a sudden it's 6. So that's why the numbers come up. It's so you can quickly type and not spend too much time looking at the phone. Now, if you were just to tap on a species like chickadee, you could actually put the exact number in if you wanted something like that.
You just did something that somebody asked a question, although they asked after they submit it. So if they make a mistake on here, they can go and they can delete before they submit. But if
Yes.
they make a mistake and they submit a bird that they actually didn't see, how
Yep.
do they fix that after the fact? Do they have to do that on the
Yes.
computer?
You
Or can they do
no,
that?
so you can do that on the app as well, both on the computer and on the app. So so we're just gonna say 3, or I'll put 5 chickadees in, and then you hit, you're done, you put review. It brings up these options. So you can't submit until you choose a location. So you're choosing a location, look at it, it recommends my local area, some of the area hotspots, go hide my address.
Where you are now is another question we have where
Yeah.
one of our birders asked if she does this when she's home, how does she change her location? So is she able to just type
Yes.
in, search a location, and she could search, I'm going to use Smith Richardson as an option. And if you type Smith
Yeah.
Richardson, she can then use that as her location.
You could. It's recommended to be as close as possible to where you currently are. So as you can see, I have a personal location that's named Bell Household. So it doesn't have my exact location. Now, could you figure it out? Yes. But what you can do is, say I drop a pin at the intersection of the street. It says create location. And then you can type and change the name. So you'll see a lot of people just have home written, or like mine is household, or someone just says private yard, stuff like that. Something else that I haven't
But what if she
tested, and
birded somewhere else and then took a paper list and wanted to enter it when she got home?
yes, yep. So if you birded somewhere else and did a paper list, I would highly suggest submitting through the website, which from the website, I will show that again in a second because I still have that pulled up. But after you, ooh, that's fun. Okay. Again, you would pick your style, stationary, etc. Sneaky thing of this, that, and the other thing, and you continue would lead you to submit it. So I'm not submitting this, but first question I had was editing lists, right? So if you're on the phone and you accidentally submit a species you didn't see, you'll see this checklist tab down here at the bottom, and you can go to submitted, and then you can tap on any of these lists, and then you'll see in the bottom right hand corner it says edit, and it will bring you back to that species list, so you can then remove something or add something, stuff like that. Again, the explore species that we talked about before, the app could have a whole other talk given on, but you see this explore tab down here as well, and that will also show you recently seen locations. So if you wanted to not do research on your phone and just see what's been seen, you can tap on the species and pick something, and when you tap on any other species like wild turkey, it shows you where the wild turkeys in your area have been seen the last couple of days. That's helpful if you're out in the field and you want to target something. But if you're sitting at home and planning a day of birding, I would always use the website. 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100 times, I just use the website to plan trips. There are times when I would use the app, but that is more of a more specific and something with a big lister, like a county lister or a state lister and stuff like that. Now back to the website, and you would go to submit, and you would pick a location. So I'll just pick my Valley Falls Park right down the street from my house, and you would hit continue. And then you have to answer these questions. Observation date. So say I went today. Today's the 6th, right? Yes. And then you have these options here. Now, the 3 options you would use in everyday birding would be traveling, stationary, or incidental. Historical would not be used. Incidental is something, say you were out weeding your garden and you had something fly over that was, or staying in your yard that was new for your migration magic list, you would submit an incidental list. But if you were actively birding and searching, you would do traveling or stationary. Now these red asterisks make it guaranteed, and you have to supply this information. So if you were to do incidental, you don't have to necessarily put your time or party size. But if you picked stationary, you would have to do start time, how long it was, and party size. And if you did traveling, you would do start time, duration, how far you went, and party size. Now, once you fill this information in, so for the sake of not having to put all this in, I'm going to do incidental. You would be greeted with a screen that looks similar to this. And you would go through and you could put the exact number that you saw, which is what eBird recommends. The best thing you can do for data is to keep an exact number or to put an estimate. If you're unsure, if you saw a large flock of geese, for example, and you don't want to estimate it, then you would put an X, which simply means the bird was there. I saw Canada geese. I can't tell you how many, but I saw Canada geese. And you would go through the whole list, putting in your numbers, this, that, and the other thing. And then at the end, you have this question here. Are you submitting a complete checklist of the birds you were able to identify? Now, for an incidental list, it's guaranteed to be no, because it's not your primary purpose. But if you were doing traveling or stationary and you submitted everything, then you would submit yes.
Just want to thank everybody. If you haven't signed up for Migration Magic, please do. There's some great prizes. The lead prize is a raffle item, but it's a picture that's valued at about $1,500, and it's stunning. I wish I could win it, but I can't because I'm a staff member. So your odds are pretty good because we take out all our staff from being eligible to win on the raffle prize. And you have to see 50 birds in the month and raise $50. Your $10 registration fee goes towards that. It's a great fun way for you to be in a raffle, a really tight raffle, to win an amazingly beautiful piece. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us again, migrationmagic@ccaudubon.org. Ask any questions. We will do everything we can to answer them and make sure that you're in and working in eBird, which, as Matt noted, thank you, Matt, for leading this conversation. It's a citizen science project, so while we're using it for our birdathon information, you're also collecting data on migrating birds in the state of Connecticut throughout the month of May. And so your data is, while you're having fun, you're also sharing in information that is part of an international study. So thank you.